Talk with your host, Reggie B. Come on, let's all join in. Free your voice, it's your choice, alright here. Oh, simply straight talk.
Welcome to Lissa's. My name is Sherry. How may I help you, sir?
Hi, Sherry. My name is Reggie, and I want to see if I could speak with Melissa if she's available.
Do you have an appointment?
Actually, no, I don't. Hey, if she's busy, I understand. I can call her later or something.
Allow me to check with Mrs. Melissa and see if she's available. Please have a seat.
Thank you.
Hey, Sherry. What's going on?
Hey, I'm sorry to bother you. There's a gentleman named Reggie who would like to see you.
Okay. Could you send him back, please? And I'm probably going to step out the office for a minute.
No problem. I'll send him back and I will call you if anything comes up.
Thank you, Sherry.
You're welcome. Reggie, Mrs. Melissa will see you now.
Thank you.
Come on in. Well. Look what the cat drug in after the dog pissed on it at the curb.
Well, hello to you, too. Do you have a minute?
Let me see. Well, you walked in the front door of my business without an appointment. Let me repeat the last part. No appointment. And asked one of my employees if you could speak with me. They verified if it was okay, and now you're standing in my office. So, does that tell you anything, or should I get a Connect 4 game with words to help you understand?
Okay, I see somebody got some crazy jokes today.
Anyway, you too good to answer our phone calls now?
Now, hold up. I have not been avoiding your calls. I knew Angelique was coming back from a long trip and probably wanted to spend some time with her man, so I respected that. Because remember the last time I interrupted her, or my situation interrupted them, it cost me $690. Is everybody forgetting about that? Look, and you got somebody, so I was just giving y'all some space. It's not like my phone was ringing off the hook.
Really, Reggie? So you're saying that we never called you last week?
Yes, that is what I'm saying. I don't have any missed calls.
She called you, and I sent you a text message 911 and with the emergency code word.
I didn't get any voicemail. In the text message, I thought you were playing. Remember the last time when I came with the, gallon of ice ready to do some damage? I think my phone was acting up because it was off when I got home. And besides that, it was so late by the time I got home.
Angelique called you, and she said it sounded like you picked up the phone and then hung up because your phone went straight to voicemail when she called you back. However, if I decide to use the emergency code, just know it's not to be questioned. You just pick up and roll up.
Listen, I was just giving y'all some space until Andrew asked if I could come and talk for a minute. Hold on. What happened between Angelique and Andrew? Because I cannot seem to get a straight answer.
Here we go. So you don't know anything?
Listen, Andrew said that they had a disagreement and they haven't spoken since. And that was pretty much it. Then he apologized about the hotel, which made absolutely no sense to me. And then James said, what? I know you were not listening to that lying fool. Do you know he had us served with legal papers? That fool is trying to get a restraining order against me and Angelique. The police served us at her house. Wait, how did all this come about? What reason would he have to go get a restraining order? For what?
Mad as hell. Short story. Andrew was hanging out with James, who told a bunch of lies about Angelique. Instead of him being a man and talking to her, Andrew was acting funny when she got back from her business trip. And I was about to break my back across Bad Breath James's face. So your little boys club is stirring up some trouble.
Melissa, I am not a part of nobody's boys club. This whole situation is a hot damn mess. I need to call Angelique too. How are you and Tyson doing? Tell me, how are you doing? How are you and Tyson doing?
Well, I guess you should. We're doing, and that's all I really want to say about that.
Melissa, is everything okay? I feel like there's so much more going on, but you're not telling me.
I'm good. I just can't deal with the juggling act. You can't jump in and out of people's lives when it suits you, especially with people you call friends. I have to go. Sherry can show you out. Maybe we'll talk later. Welcome to another episode of the Simply Straight Talk Show with your host, Reggie Maddox. And today, we got some real talk on this thing called life just for you. Y'all know what we about to do. Let's start the show.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Simply Straight Talk Show. This is your host, Reggie Maddox. Listen, man, today we want to talk about falling out of love and what's next. With the pandemic going on and a lot of people being forced to spend more time with their mates, a lot of people are finding out that their relationships are just not able to withstand everything that's going on. The pressures of COVID, the pressures of family situations, finances, everything is just sort of building up. So that's why we want to explore falling out of love with your mate. Now, there are a variety of reasons this happened. There's a lot of things that plays into this. I wish I could cover every scenario, but I can't. But I am going to try to cover as much as possible, okay? Because we all have been there. You know what I'm saying? We've all fallen in love and it just didn't work out for whatever the reason was. Now, I want to look at things. We all know about cheating. We all know about abuse. Okay, we get that. We got that. It's been drilled in us. We understand it. But I want to look at what happens when a relationship just simply, you just fall out of love with the person. Now, when a person falls in love, it's with the hope that they have found the person they're going to spend the rest of their lives with. That's why some people struggle. They struggle, regarding whether or not they should leave a relationship when they're no longer happy. Some people are staying with the wrong person, and it's only going to fill you with more discontentment as time goes on. In some cases, people constantly create reasons as to why they should stay in a relationship where they are not happy and they are unfulfilled. This is a fact of, and it's one of the challenges of falling in love. It's easy to fall in love because you know what you want to do if you fall in love with somebody. You want to be with them. You want to try to make a life with them. But when you fall out of love, a lot of questions come into play. Did I really love the person? Am I looking too deep into this? Am I making up stuff? Am I not putting in enough effort? Are they not putting in enough effort? A lot of people really don't take the time also to evaluate what got them to that point, why they feel the way they feel, why they feel like they have fallen out of love. And sometimes people will be with a person for a year, 6 years, 10 years, and they will never tell the person that they're with that they fell out of love with them a long time ago. So that brings us to some topics, not some topics, but it brings us to some discussion points that we need to talk about. And that's the reasons and some signs you may be falling out of love with somebody, or the reasons or signs a person may have fallen out of love with you. So let's look at some of the things that can kind of indicate a person is maybe falling out of love. Maybe you've fallen out of love with somebody and this can relate to you. So let's discuss it. Number one, and I got 12 of these, okay? Number one, you become more annoyed by the smallest things this person does. And eventually it's just basically to the point where when you look at this person, you start to feel a little bit of, it's not more resentment, but it's just more, you're not attracted. You're not even wanting to be with them. And everything they do annoys you. The stuff that was cute in the beginning now is annoying. You don't like the way they chew. You don't like the way they leave the toilet paper. You don't like the way they put their clothes up. You don't like the way they sit down. You don't like the way they hold a fork or a spoon. You don't like the way they wash dishes. You don't like the way they wash clothes. It's just so much about this person now, just little bitty things that it feels like it's a needle sticking you in the back. Every time they do something, it annoys you. And it's the smallest little things. And at some point you may say, why is this bothering me? When you're falling out of love with a person, you sort of begin to see things through a different lens. So the things that will kind of had you a little blurry in the beginning, because you don't have that same attraction level, you become annoyed over the simplest things. Number 2, you're not interested in sharing your day or your feelings with them. You're not interested in really communicating with them. You just kind of come home and bypass each other, and you might have little casual, cordial conversations, but you're not really trying to share with them. You're not really trying to let them into your life. In a way, you're starting to put up a wall. Either you have gotten to the point where you feel like they just can't really contribute, you don't trust their feedback, or you don't feel they give you adequate feedback, but you've just lost that confidence in the fact of having a conversation that's beneficial to you. That could be a sign that you're falling out of love. Number 3, you're spending less time with them. And it happens. You're spending less time. You're not really trying to do things with them. And you just like, okay, yeah, whatever, we're in the house, but we don't really need to be around each other. We don't need to be underneath each other. You don't want to cuddle. You don't want to hug. You're cool with a high five when you come in the house or just a wave from across the room. Number 4, you are more receptive to flirts from other people and you become more flirtatious yourself. This is a sign that you could be falling out of love with somebody that you're with, because now someone flirts you and you're very receptive to it. You're kind of like, I like that. But when your partner flirts with you, it's kind of like, whatever. And it's not that they've cheated. It's not that they abuse you. It's just that something has happened into the relationship to where the love aspect is just not there. So flirts from other people are nice to you. It feels good. You being a little flirtatious, not that you're trying to sleep with somebody, but you being a little flirtatious yourself, you kind of like it. Number 5, you stop future planning and just take things day by day. This is the point when you're kind of like, not sure what's going to happen. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. I'm sort of okay either way. But some people get to that point. They don't talk about a vacation coming up. They don't talk about saving money. They don't talk about maybe, getting another house, another car. They don't talk about anything. And they really try to disconnect and prevent anything that's going to connect you financially, because they feel like if we're day by day, and when this relationship breaks, the least amount of ties we have to each other, the better. So if a person starts planning for the future and they stop planning for the future and they stop trying to really connect and tie your properties or tie your finances together, like everything is becoming very separate now. This is your lane. This is my lane. If we meet, we meet, but we're not going to join highways. So that's a sign you could be falling out of love. Number 6, you stop prioritizing your relationship. And you see this when people are falling out of love. Maybe they feel like it's just not worth it. So instead of prioritizing a relationship, like, listen, I need to do this for my husband or for my wife. This is coming up. I want to make sure my wife has this. The household has this. You kind of getting to the point of where it's like, you know what? I'm going to go buy groceries, but this is the stuff I like. If he wants it, the grocery store is right down the street. You don't really get emotionally involved into your partner. You don't really invest in your partner because you have really gotten to the point to where they're not a priority to you anymore. When the phone rings, you may answer it, you may not, or you try to get off the phone. And it's not another woman. It's not another man. It could just be the simple fact that it is a work call. You'd rather take a work call than talk to your spouse. You'd rather deal with somebody that you can't stand than talk to your spouse. You'd rather listen to the radio than talk to your spouse. You'd rather do anything than talk to that person because they're not a priority to you anymore. Number 7, sexually, you are not turned on and you have to take your mind somewhere else or think about somebody else to enjoy having sex with them or to have an orgasm. So sexually, you're not attracted to them. Sexually, you're not being fulfilled. Even though you were being fulfilled before, you're not feeling it anymore. So now you may sleep with them, but your mind is with somebody else. Mentally, somebody else is stimulating you because that person is not. Number 8, you stop caring about what they do or where they go. Spending time together does not matter. You know, that is a very sad state, but it does happen. When you fall out of love with somebody, you really don't care what they do or where they go. It's like, hey, you know, I'm going out of town for the weekend. Okay. Inside, you're like, yes. And you don't have to come back. But you have that in situations to where people will get to the point to where they just honestly feel like, I don't care what you do. You don't even have to tell me what you're doing. You don't even have to tell me you're coming back. If you don't want to come back till 8 a.m, fine. If you want to come back when I go to work, fine. You want to go hang out with the girls, go do it. You want to go hang out with the boys, do it. Because honestly, when you get to the point where you just don't really care what the other person is doing because you prefer them to be somewhere else than around you, and you're not really interested in their day, what they're doing, who they're with, you don't care. Because the relationship at that point is just existing. Number 9, working late and taking the longest route home is better than being home. And I can tell you this from experience because I was in a situation like that to where when it just came down to dealing with that person that I was with, I didn't care about staying late. I didn't care about being at work 2 hours. I didn't care about being in traffic for 3 hours. I would take the scenic route home because there was more peace on my job. There was more peace on the road than it was in that house that I call home. And that is a very sad state for anybody to be in. And it's unfortunate, but a lot of people, men and women, do get into a situation to where home is not home. Home should be a place of peace, a place of love. It should be a place that you want to come to. But unfortunately for many people, because of their situation, they're unhappy, they're not comfortable, they don't want to go home. Number 10, you live like roommates rather than a couple. Been there, done that too. God dang. Okay. That is a very sad situation when you're with somebody and you walk past each other and don't say anything. You stay in one room, they stay in another room. Even if you get into bed together, the bed is almost like you got 2 twin beds. Even though it's one bed connected, you do everything you can to really just not touch each other, not see each other. Even if one person cooks food, it's like, okay, they'll eat. Then they'll come tell you, oh, there's some food on the stove if you want it. And the sad thing about that is, you know, instead of going up and tell that person, hey, I just cooked, you want something to eat? It's like, no. I've eaten. I don't want to eat with you, but you go down and eat because I've eaten. Or they'll go eat in a totally different room. They'll watch TV in a totally different room. You literally are roommates at that point. You're not even trying to be sexually interactive with each other. You're just going through the motions because it's convenient. Maybe you can't afford a place. Maybe you can't afford to move out. So you're just existing just to make time fly. Number 11, you have grown apart. And this is very common in relationships if people don't know how to address this problem. If one person is, say, educated and the other person is trying to work, is not educated. You got one person with a doctorate's degree. Maybe the other person just has an associate's. You got people that may be dealing with different people throughout the day. Maybe their goals change, their ambitions change. The woman may say, hey, I think it's at the time I like to where I want kids. I want a family. The guy may be like, well, now I'm not feeling that right now. I don't want kids. I don't think I do want kids. Or the man may want kids and the woman don't want kids. Maybe it's the careers. One person may feel like their career is where they need to be. And they want somebody that can kind of understand what they're going through. And when you can't, people grow apart. Your career can make you grow apart. Different educations levels can make you grow apart. The people you hang around throughout the day can make you grow apart. Because sometimes one person can sort of elevate, their levels because they're always thinking about the next step. And if that other person is just kind of like maintaining, they're going to grow apart. So, but there are other reasons people can grow apart too, but that was just some examples. But people do grow apart. And number 12, I think this is the most common. I think it really speaks to relationships today. People are moving too fast, too soon. People are getting in relationships quicker than they know that person's name. And I think people now don't want to take the time to go through the process of really getting to know somebody. And then when the relationship don't work, they want to say, oh, well, all men are like this or all women are like this. And no, the truth is you just happen to rush the situation to where you did not take the time to get to meet the person that you're with. And that just resulted in a bad relationship that just didn't work out. Moving too fast, doing things too soon without taking time to actually get to know the person you're with. Hey, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with more of the Simply Straight Talk Show.
We'll be back with your host, Reggie, on Simply Straight Talk.
Hey, this your man Reggie here. Are you looking for some fresh new music? Are you looking for an artist that's got that positive vibe and that positive flow, that knows how to flow lyrically? Then man, you need to check out Tone G Music with songs like Buzzin', Good Deeds, and Pick Up the Phone. Now these songs are available on Apple Music and other digital platforms. Tone G brings that positive vibe in everything he does. And the music he brings with the reggae style and that smooth lyrical flow, oh, you know what to do. Y'all check out Tone G Music.
We hope you're enjoying the show. As our listeners, this show is made possible because of your support. Make sure you click the subscribe button and leave a comment. Thank you for being a part of the show, and now back to your host, Reggie Maddox.
Hey everybody, and we are here with the second part of the show where today we are talking about falling out of love, what's next? In the beginning of the show, we gave you a few discussion points regarding why people falling out of love. Now, we can't just talk about why people fall out of love without getting into what can you do? What's next after the love is gone? Now, people fall out of love for different reasons. We already discussed that. We already talked about that. But a lot of people have a difficult time making a recovery after they fall out of love because they simply are just kind of caught in the middle. They're not quite sure what to do. Some people are on the fence about the relationship, but that's what we want to talk about. We really want to talk about what's next. You've been in a relationship with this person. You feel like, I've invested time, I've invested money, my other resources. I've been with this person so long. I'm comfortable with this person. Do I really want to start over? Do I really want to get into a new relationship? Do I really want to get back into the whole dating process? I feel like I'm too old, or maybe I'm not in shape like I used to be when I first met this person. So there's a lot of things that play into it. Financially, I'm not really ready to get back out there again. So emotionally, are you done with that person? So there's a lot that goes into this. So let's get into this. Let's start looking at what's next after you have fallen out. Because right now, when you have fallen out of love with a person, there are some decisions that need to be made. And when you're making these decisions, not only does it have to be fair to you, but it has to be fair to the other person. And I think a lot of times when a person has fallen out of love, some people will just go through the motions, but they might go ahead and get them a side chick. Women might go get them a back pocket dude. It's just somebody that you got as an extra because you don't want to let go of what you got, but you don't want to be in that situation also. You're not happy where you are, but you don't want to be where you are, but you don't want to leave where you are. So when you start getting side chicks and back pocket dudes, now all of a sudden you bring in other people just to complicate the equation. So number one, let's start off with this. What's next? You've fallen out of love with your mate. Here's my first recommendation. Have a conversation with your partner to see how they feel and if the two of you can work it out. You got to have the conversation. You may not want to. You may feel like that person may be hurt. You may feel like they're not going to understand. Is it going to cause an argument? It could. Simply for the reason that now you're dealing with somebody's emotions. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you start getting into somebody's emotions and their heart, you're going to have a bit of confusion and maybe a bit of unhappiness from their part. But you got to have that conversation because they don't know what's wrong. You trying to figure out what you want to do. It may be something that can be worked out between the two of you. Because oftentimes people don't tell people what is really bothering them in a way that they understand. They feel like just by doing certain behavior gestures, they should get it. Nobody's a mind reader. Okay? Now, on the flip side of that, sometimes you might tell a person, listen, I've fallen out in love with you, and it may shock you because they may want out of the relationship too. They just want to know who's going to be the first person to say it. They are relieved that you feel that way. Now, they may play sad and like, oh, dang, I'm sorry this didn't work out like this. Man, but you got to do what you got to do. And inside, they're like, hell yeah. So you got to have the conversation. Number two, now I understand that sometimes having that conversation is difficult. If you want to work things out or you believe a relationship can be saved, try bringing in a relationship coach or a therapist to help mediate the discussion. Or even if you want to tell this person, but you're not sure about their behavior or how they're going to take it, have somebody that you trust. Having a counselor or a therapist, there's nothing wrong with that, to discuss the relationship and let it come out that way. It can either bridge the gap or it can lead to a peaceful separation. Now, you're not supposed to use counselors to break up, but if they can help you deal with the emotional issues that you have and the emotional issues that they have from whatever you went through or going through, it's a win-win, especially if they can help you get to a point to where you understand the breakup is mutual and it's beneficial. And sometimes people don't get that breaking up can be beneficial to both parties. Number three, if the relationship is over, do not walk away with bitterness and anger. Avoid any type of vengeance mentality. And sometimes going your separate ways, like I said before, is beneficial. It's the best option. But when you get into this angry, bitter state of, I hate this person, you're not helping yourself. You're the one that can't sleep at night. You're the one with a headache. If that person said that they've fallen out of love with you, listen, tell me. I'd rather have you be upfront and honest than for me to find out that you're cheating. Or for me to find out that you fell out of love with me 2 years ago. You've been going through the motions and now you started seeing somebody else because I couldn't give you what you needed. Tell me, then go do whatever you want to do. Yes, I may kind of wallow for a day or two, but I'm going to get back up. But I'd rather do that than be in a miserable situation coming home where I'm unhappy, you're unhappy. It's just not a good situation to be in. So if the relationships end, don't let it end because you're carrying all this bitterness and anger inside of you. Because truth be told, you'd rather have somebody who don't care about you out of your life than somebody who does care about you can move right in. Number four, if there are kids involved, and I know somebody probably said that in the first part of the show, he didn't mention kids. If there are kids involved, staying together in a toxic relationship is not good for the kids. And people always say, well, you can't get a divorce because they're kids. But then you have two parents who are constantly arguing, constantly bickering at each other. They get so frustrated with each other, then they start taking it out on the kids. It's better if you separate. Understand, listen, this working for you? No, it ain't working for me either. Listen, let's just go our separate ways, but let's make sure the kids are taken care of. That's how you should do it. Make sure the kids are taken care of. So staying together just for the kids, it's not going to make the situation better. Number 5, if the relationship ends, start exploring your hobbies, something to occupy your time. The worst thing you can do is allow yourself to become mentally trapped in a what happened? Why did it end? I'm alone. I have to start over. When I meet somebody else attitude. This will only hold you back, and eventually it's going to destroy your confidence. Oh, and one more thing about the kids part real quick. Remember, the kids should not be punished for your adult relationship problems, okay? Don't punish the kids by staying together. Do what's best for the kids, even if it means being apart. You can still provide. Now, back to what I was saying. When the relationship ends, the worst thing you can do is sit around and just kind of mold in what happened, because it can end up going on for months where you're in this mindset of I can't meet nobody. You got to get your mind going by being active. And when I say active, it don't mean going to the clubs. Start doing the things that you were thinking about doing, but you felt maybe you couldn't do because you was in a relationship, or maybe you couldn't do because you had to spend time with your wife or spend time with your husband. You know, maybe you want to research a business. Maybe you want to start, maybe you enjoy art or painting, reading, writing, singing, dancing. Maybe you enjoy going to the performing arts. Start doing that stuff. Now, at the time that this podcast is airing, we're in the middle of a pandemic. So I understand options are really limited right now because a lot of places are closed or they got limited openings. But that doesn't mean that you cannot find crafts. If you like crafts and building things, go to the arts and crafts store, order stuff online. There are communities on the website that you can actually be a part of. You know, there are photography communities, there are book writing, book reading communities. There are so many things that you can actually do. It can enhance your personal growth, your professional growth. Start investing in you and start discovering you. Because when you sit back and you just kind of lay in that mindset of what happened and mulling over a broken relationship, you're going to stay broken yourself. You can't fix it until you start to move on. All right? Listen, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back with more of the Simply Straight Talk show. Well, actually, we're going to be right back with the final thoughts of the show.
You're listening to Simply Straight Talk.
RM Viaging is a company based on life's journey and sharing life lessons with the world in the form of laughter and reflection. Inspiring people to go after their dreams and not giving up on life. RM Viaging creates inspirational music and motivational speeches designed to motivate all age groups. Visit our website at www.rmviaging.com to hear samples of our music. You will also find motivational articles on our blog page titled New Life, New Mind Blog. We also have a weekly podcast hosted by Reggie called Simply Straight Talk, all on our website at www.rmviaging.com.
Are you ready for the straight truth? Reggie, what's the final word for today?
Hey, what's up, everybody? And welcome back to the final thoughts of today's show, where our topic is falling out of love. What's next? Now, we know everybody has been in a situation where they have fallen in love with somebody. Either somebody has fallen out of love with them, they have fallen out of love with somebody else, or you guys just fell out of love with each other. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It happens. It's a part of life. People can get into a relationship and have the utmost love for each other, but as time goes on and as people start to grow personally and professionally, sometimes you grow apart. It doesn't have to be an ugly thing. It doesn't have to be a thing where you're angry and you're bitter. Listen, if you are in a situation and you feel like your mate has fallen out of love with you and they want to go their separate ways, I'm going to tell you something. It is much easier to let that person go their separate way rather than trying to keep somebody in your life who does not want to be there. If they were open and honest enough to tell you that they are not in love with you and they want to move on somewhere else, then let that person go. Trust me, I understand. I know the hurt. I know the emotion. I know the feeling of I've invested my time. I've invested my resources. Sometimes that may feel like I'm taking a huge loss right here, but keeping that person in your life can really be a bigger loss. And I know that sounds crazy because it's not easy to tell somebody, oh, just, let go of your emotions, get over it. I understand there's going to be some pain. You're going to hurt for a day or two, maybe a couple of weeks. Don't linger in that. It is up to you to decide and make the decision that you have to move on. Don't feel like you're too old. Don't feel like you're too out of shape. Don't feel like, oh, what am I going to do now? I don't want to get back into the dating process. Well, don't. Take some time to live your life and just get yourself together emotionally. If physically you feel like you need to be in better shape, then take this time to get in shape. Because now you're doing it for you. You're doing it because you want to feel good about yourself, and you don't want to have to rely on somebody else to give you that, because that's on you. And it's tough medicine, it's tough love, but the truth will set you free. And allow the truth to set you free if somebody has made the decision that they don't want to be with you. You deserve somebody that's going to love you. You deserve somebody that's going to respect you. You deserve somebody that's going to stand in your corner and not run. Somebody who's going to communicate and want to build with you and not just ride with you for the ride. Take pride in your body. Take pride in who you are. Be conscious and aware. Love yourself. Love yourself. And if somebody can't love you, let them walk. And watch God bring somebody in your life that's going to love you the way you deserve to be loved. Hey, this is Reggie, man. I appreciate y'all checking out the Simply Straight Talk Show. Thank you to everybody for tuning in and listening each week. I appreciate all the love, all the support. Thank you, everybody, for the love that you're showing Angelique, the love you're showing Melissa. As always, they are wonderful. They are the greatest voiceover artists. I enjoy working with them. Thank you for the love that you guys are showing for the intro at the beginning of the show. I want to give y'all a little something, man, just to entertain you a little bit before we get into the show. Get your mind thinking, your juices flowing. But hey, appreciate it. Y'all come back, man. We'll be back next Friday with another show right here on the Simply Straight Talk Show.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Straight Talk Show with Reggie Maddox. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass along our podcast to your friends and colleagues. And please leave us a positive review on iTunes. Be sure to check out our archive section on iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, and YouTube. Join us next time for another edition of the Simply Straight Talk Show.